Welcome to Quote and Conquer, the podcast where powerful words meet powerful action. Let's conquer one quote at a time. When you look in the mirror and you're staring back at yourself, who do you see? The person that you should be or the one that everyone else thinks you should be? You see, there comes a moment in everybody's life when the noise finally quiets. There's no crowd, no applause, no family, no friends, no titles, no bank account, no followers, just silence. And in that silence, you're left with one unavoidable truth. You may be able to outrun the world, but you can't outrun yourself. Because at the end of the day, after the meetings, after the wins, after the failures, after the image that you portray to everybody else, you stand face to face with the person that knows everything. The person staring you back in the glass. Hi, everybody. It's Joey Walters. Welcome back to Quote and Conquer, the podcast where powerful words meet powerful action. You see, when you stare at the reflection of yourself in the mirror, that person doesn't care what you post online, how much you have in your bank account, what other people think about you, how impressive your resume sounds. It only cares about one thing. Did you live with integrity today? So today, we're not going to be talking about motivation. We're not going to be talking about hype. We're going to be talking about truth. One of the most powerful poems ever written on self-respect, integrity, and identity. And without further ado, we're going to get into this week's quote, but it's actually a poem. Now I'm going to recite the poem Man in the Glass by Dale Wimberl from 1934. When you get what you want in your struggle for self and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what the man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment you must pass. The fellow whose verdict that counts the most in your life is the man staring back from the glass. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may be like Jack Horner and chisel a plum and think you're a wonderful guy, but the guy in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. You can fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but the final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. Hi, everyone. Quick interruption from the episode. If this is speaking to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification because you don't want to miss out. And share it with someone who may need it. The link is in the episode notes. It only takes a moment and it can change someone's life. I believe in divine timing, and that can put the right message in front of the right person at the right time to make a huge difference. So let's make this happen together. And without further ado, let's get right back in the episode. So before I go into a story on how this poem helped me in my life, I want to tell you that I read The Man in the Glass on a consistent basis. Not because I need more motivation, not because it makes me feel good. I read it because it keeps me honest. Every time I read it, it reminds me of the man I want to be and the man that I refuse to compromise with. It forces me to confront the real truth. Am I leading and living with integrity? Am I showing up fully for myself, for my family, for my team? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to talk about integrity. It's another thing to live it when nobody is watching. So now I want to get into the story. So I remember like yesterday when it finally caught up to me. Not because something was wrong, but because I've been carrying this my whole life. And I finally refused to stay quiet. From the outside, my story always looked like I had success, good grades growing up. I did what I was supposed to do. I won numerous championships, numerous trophies, playing competitive hockey. I built a solid career. And it looked like I was always moving forward, always achieving, always doing well. But this is what makes it so dangerous, because the cracks didn't show up overnight. They followed me. Different arenas, same feeling. I felt it on the ice when I was playing competitive hockey. I stopped trusting my instincts. I was not playing to win. I was playing not to lose. I felt it in my marriage. I avoided the tough conversations. I avoided how I was truly feeling until one day I showed up. I felt it in my career. When decisions were made, I protected the image instead of being truthful early on in my career. I wanted everybody to like me and I wanted to be respected. So I disconnected from who I truly was. I felt it in my failed entrepreneurial adventures. Ideas that I looked good, moves that probably made sense on paper, but deep down, I wasn't aligned with truly who I was. And instead of chasing clarity, I chased outcomes. I felt it as a father. Moments that I fully wasn't present. Days where I would work stressed and my ego got in the way until I realized I was teaching my kids habits that I didn't want to. I had different seasons, different settings, but the same quiet voice kept coming back time and time again. It was the mirror standing right in my face, watching, waiting until that one night after a long day, when the noise finally stopped, I caught my reflection. And for the first time, I didn't try to explain it. I looked at it and I said to myself, and I realized something. I wasn't living in integrity. I wasn't being truthful. I did not trust the person that I was staring back in the glass. And if I didn't trust that person, how could I lead my family? How could I lead my team? How could I achieve my full potential if that wasn't the case? So, how did I get the person staring at me in the glass to be my friend? Well, it did not happen overnight. It was day in and day out of hard work. It was asking the hard questions of myself. It was being brutally honest with myself. It was changing the way I thought. I had to get rid of my old software and I had to upgrade it. I needed to rebuild my identity. And I did it day in and day out. I had to raise my standards, I had to match my habits, and I had to match my discipline and my persistency and my consistency to the person I wanted to be to reach my full potential. And am I that person every single day, in every single moment? Absolutely not. But I am far better than I once was because I built a system with a foundation. And that led to starting this podcast. That led to me getting in a lot better shape. That led me to being persistent with my family. And that led me to writing my book because I learned one thing the hard way. You can change arenas, you can change roles, you can even change outcomes, but you can't change how you live with yourself. And the person in the glass will follow you everywhere. Quick interruption from the episode. Your past is lying to you and it's been chaining you down for long enough. I know this firsthand. But here's the great news. My book, Breaking from the Chains of Your Past, is a system I use to rebuild my identity, and it'll show you how to break free and create the future that you deserve. And here is the deal. If you attend my free masterclass by clicking the link below, I'll give you the book for free. No strings attached, just transformation. What are you waiting for? Your future starts now. Now I'm going to give you 5 takeaways on how you can live this poem and ensure that the person staring back at you in the glass trusts you. So, number 1, your integrity is your compass. The promises that you keep to yourself in private show up in public. It's not always about the integrity that you give to other people. It is very important to have integrity, but you have to keep your word and never compromise on that. Number 2, the mirror doesn't lie. Titles, money, influence, they're all meaningless if you can't face the person and respect the person that you're staring back at you. That is the ultimate accountability tool. Number 3, courage over comfort. Growth is uncomfortable, it's messy, fear shows up, but that's when you get rewarded, is when you step outside your comfort zone and you face it, because it's messy at the beginning, but it's beautiful at the end if you stay consistent to it and never give up. Number 4, self-reflection is non-negotiable. Build a habit to ask the hard questions daily or weekly. How did I lead? How did I show up? Am I keeping integrity to myself and to the people around me? And am I showing up with the values and authenticity? And number 5, action creates alignment. Knowing is not enough. You need to act. You need to act now. The people that take the biggest action always get reward. So here's what I challenge you to do today. Before you go to bed, stand in the front of the mirror. Don't scroll. Don't reflect on what others think. And don't measure yourself by any social media metrics. Just ask these questions. Did I act in integrity today? Did I honor the person that I aspire to be? And am I proud of the choices that I made? And make this on a daily basis as a non negotiable. This is how people that reach their full potential are built. So, in closing, the next time the world applauds you, the next time that someone calls you successful, remember the real test isn't in their eyes, it's in the glass. The person staring back at you doesn't care about the fame, the money, or the accolades. They only care about truth, courage, and integrity. Well, that's all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you got something out of it, and that way you can go and implement it. Remember, I always say, don't just hear the words, live them. You only live life once. So what are you waiting for? The world is yours to conquer. Definitely running with the soul.